Buongiorno, and here I am again today, and I'm going to be bringing you 3 different things I'm cooking, which will be a full meal. And the first thing will be my veggie relish, which I put on the second item, which will be sole, stuffed sole with spinach, and then delicata squash, sort of candied style, but it's all low. Everything is low calorie, okay? First of all, I have to say to you, welcome to Anna's Kitchen. However, because there's so many out on YouTube, Anna's Kitchen, I'm going to be changing the name to Eating Healthy, Cooking and Eating Healthy with Anna. So if you want to find me, please subscribe and they'll notify you every time I put something out, which will be much easier than you hunting down everything. So the first thing today we're going to do is we're going to be making the vegetable relish. Okay? So I did prepare some things and I cut ahead of time. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be putting in the olive oil, the garlic, and red pepper flakes, red crushed pepper flakes. And the amounts on everything will be a teaspoon of olive oil, a quarter of a teaspoon of garlic, minced, and 1/16 of a teaspoon of the red pepper flakes. And we've got that going on a medium burner. And we're going to kind of just toss it around. You don't want to overdo the garlic to where it's going to burn, because then it becomes very bitter. So only about a minute, not even, maybe 30 seconds. And after we do that, we're going to be putting in, I have here chopped peppers, and I diced them. And it's a half a cup of the peppers. And then I have a quarter of a cup of scallions. And then I have chopped mushrooms. And I have cherry tomatoes that are quartered. So on the peppers, for a half a cup, if you're measuring by grams, it's 74.5 grams. It's always easy to do on a scale. And I want to show you this scale I have here. It has grams, ounces, and everything. When you're measuring half cup items like your vegetables, do it by grams. It's much easier. Excuse me 1 minute. Okay, so this is ready. Let's put in the peppers and scallions. And we're just going to toss those around till they're coated really well. That's what makes them cook so nice. And while that's cooking up a little bit, I want to show you another item I use all the time. And it's wonderful. It does all your chopping, your dicing. It has different components that go in it, so different size chopping you get. Everything is chopped in minutes, so I suggest you have one of these. Very, very good to have. Okay, let's stir this up a little bit. And I've got my trusty spray here because that's just not enough. I don't want it to stick, but a couple of spritz, and it's not going to take away from your calorie count. Just stir it up. And the thing about getting eating healthy is very, very important. And that's what this program is about, eating healthy. And the reason you eat healthier is to cut back on things like your cholesterol, your carbohydrates, lowers your glycemia. It's very, very good to eat healthy. So it's not about just the taste, although it does taste good for what we're cooking. And you just want to be able to eat really, really healthy, okay? So I want to get that in there. Eating healthier does a lot of things. It lowers your cholesterol, your blood pressure. I had diabetes. It took away, I still have diabetes, but it took away all my medications. And it just makes you feel good. And being healthy is just wonderful. I can't express it enough. So let's put in some of the tomatoes. Tomatoes is 74.5 grams, and that's half a cup. And you're going to put that in with whatever juice it has formed. Now, I do all this stuff in the morning, and then I just wrap everything and have it all on hand, so that way it comes a lot easier. You don't mind cooking. And then we have mushrooms. The mushrooms are 36.36 grams. Or no, I'm sorry, 36 grams. That's a half a cup. And you're going to just stir that all up. And you want it to where your tomatoes get a little soft, okay? Because this is going to go on top of your sole. It makes it very pretty. You've got the colors of red, orange, yellow, green. Very, very pretty, and it tastes delicious. It adds a little something to your soul, so it's not so bland. As well as the stuffing with the spinach that you're going to be stuffing it with. We'll put a little Parmesan cheese. We'll put a little mozzarella. Very good. So while that's cooking, I'm just going to show you. The next thing we have is Delicata squash. And the Delicata squash is done very well with cinnamon and let me just see here. We've got a tablespoon of olive oil, a quarter of a teaspoon of salt, a quarter of a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a quarter of a teaspoon, I use the Truvia liquid. They have it in packets, but I prefer the liquid. That way it doesn't have to dissolve. And we're going to be putting this in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. You're going to turn it in between too, okay? I have a lined cookie sheet here. And we're just going to spread this out. And remember, I told you everything in a layer. And you're going to spread this out really well. This is very good for you. Delicata squash. I was reading about it, and only to find out how beneficial it is to your health. I never realized it, but it is super, super healthy for you. Oh, and I have to set my ovens being at 400 degrees. So let's come over here and set the ovens at 400. And I just want to tell you a little bit about delicate squash, what I learned. So I'm going to have to read it because I can't remember it all. Um, but it lowers your blood pressure, it fights inflammation, it strengthens your bones, it boosts your iron, it maintains your vision, it lowers your cholesterol, it boosts your immune system, and it helps your digestive system, and it's a healthy gluten-free alternative. So I didn't know all that about delicate squash. I like it. I'm going to lower this temperature a little bit because I don't want it to burn. Um, I like it a lot. I just never realized how beneficial it was to my health. So this is done. So we're going to take this and we're going to turn it off and put it aside. And as soon as that hits 400, we'll put this in for 20 to 25 minutes. You want to check it. Now, when you cut it a half an inch in slices. You're going to take the ends off, cut it down the center, take out your seeds, and cut it in half-inch slices. Leave the skin on. You don't have to take it off. It's delicious. Just make sure you want to wash it well so that you could eat it, okay? And I have to tell you, everything I have for vegetables, I always wash. You could put everything, vegetables, fruit, whatever, in 1 part white vinegar, 2 parts water. And just let your stuff go into a big container. Let it soak for a minute. Rinse it out really well in a strainer. You could do all your vegetables and all your fruits like that. And it removes anything that's on them. So that's just a little helpful hint I have for you. Okay. So at the end of this, we're going to recap for my 365 group what everything really is in grams as far as condiments and fats and everything else. And it's good for all of you to know that also. So we're going to do that. Now I'm going to go in the refrigerator and I'm going to get my sole. Okay. We'll just put that out for a little bit. I'm going to take my relish and we're going to take it and put it in a dish because we're going to add this on top of the sole once the sole is cooked. Okay. And I'm going to use the same pan to do the spinach because you know what? A little flavor of what was in there, delicious. So let's take the olive oil for the sole, and we're going to do a tablespoon of olive oil. And you're going to have the spinach is going to be raw. Okay? So let's do that. Okay, and in here, we're going to take, here I have a half a cup of leeks. Now you could use scallions also. I prefer leeks, but sometimes when I don't have the leeks, I have the scallions, I put those in. So it's 44.5 grams is a half a cup. And this is what we're going to use after it's cooked. So Here's your leeks. Again, toss it to coat it with your oil. It's important to get that oil coated on everything because it cooks up a lot better. Okay, so we're going to leave the leeks in there. Okie doke. And we're just tossing this around. Okay. And then here we have the spinach. It's raw, okay? I buy the baby spinach. And it's 180 grams, which is 1 cup of spinach, okay? So for your sole, you're going to have 2 servings, which will consist of 18 ounces of sole or flounder. Today I have flounder, but I also use sole. So it really depends on what you like. You could use either or. Let's just keep tossing this until your leeks are just a little bit softer. And then you're going to put this in raw, okay? And we're going to take prongs out here so that you could just keep tossing it. It's better than buying frozen spinach. Frozen spinach, you have to defrost, you have to squeeze. You don't have to do that with this, okay? So let's keep throwing this around. Make sure everything is good with that. I'm going to put these dishes over here. Okay. Okay, and now I'm going to put my spinach in. Wash your hands. You want to make sure your hands are clean. Oh, we got one runaway spinach here. Okay. And on top of that, you're going to put an eighth of a teaspoon of salt and an eighth of a teaspoon of herbes de Provence. It's a nice seasoning to add in soups and anything you have. I always keep that on hand. And now you're just going to keep tossing, okay? Keep it on a medium to low heat and just keep tossing it around. The spinach doesn't want to stay in the pan. Just keep tossing and tossing, and you'll see it go down. You don't need to put water in it. As long as you just keep tossing and turning. And you're going to see all the leeks mixing in with it. And now you see my spinach is being coated with the oil. So that kind of helps bring it down a little bit. And this is going to be your stuffing for your sole, as well as Parmesan cheese and mozzarella. And it's starting to dwindle down. Meantime, as this is working like this, I'm going to get my flounder, which is what I chose today. And we're rinsing. I've rinsed it ahead of time, and then you pat it dry really well. You don't want it wet, okay? Because that's what makes it get a nice little crust on it. So make sure you pat it well. And then I don't do both sides. I only do one side of a quarter of a teaspoon of salt and an eighth of a teaspoon of pepper. Hold on one second. Let me get a spatula. And you're just going to kind of go along the whole top. Doesn't have to be doused in salt. Some people use way too much salt. Okay. So that's one side of that. And while we're tossing again, you see it's coming down very nicely. And you don't have to drain it. You don't have to squeeze it out. This is the way to cook your spinach. Comes out very, very nice. Now also, if you like garlic, I would put a little garlic in. Hold on one second. One thing that we do here at the Mesa residence is I can't crush the garlic because my hands break out. So Joe does that for me. And I do a whole container of garlic. You don't have to put oil on it. All you have to do is cover it. Leave it in your fridge. And I would use, whoops. Oh, I'll have to get another one. Okay. I would use a half a teaspoon. A half a level teaspoon, okay? Put that in. Ah, it's nice now. And that little bit of garlic gives you a nice flavor. You don't want to put it in first because if you put it in first, it may burn because this is on here a while. Now another thing I use is, which I have to get, is anchovy paste. And you put, I would put a quarter of a teaspoon. Now, I know some of you are saying, I hate anchovies. I hate anchovies too. But let me tell you something. When you use the paste, it's in a tube, comes in a box, and it's put out by Amore, okay? Use it. It makes everything taste so much better. You could put it in sauces or wherever you want to put it. It's absolutely, it adds a wonderful flavor. And now you see, we're going to be taking this off the burner. Okay, I'm shutting it off. And here you see how soft it has become. Very soft, very nice. So we're going to take it and just put it on the side. Make sure you get all that good stuff. Okay, let me put this in the sink. Okay, now the oven's buzzing, which means it's calling for the squash. Okay, so you see what it looks like? That'll be on. I put the timer on. I'm putting it on for 20 minutes. Okay, now I'm turning it over, all the flounder, and I'm putting the salt and pepper side on the bottom. Reason being, we're going to be stuffing this, okay? So let me grab a fork. Now, I may not use all this spinach because I'm only going to put a forkful. You see? You want to put it in the center, a little bit more. I'll show you what it should look like. And you're going to have some leftover spinach, no problem. You put it in eggs, you could put it in anything. You can add it to one of your other vegetables and mix some vegetables up. Okay, so you see this is what it looks like. Not a lot. Now, because you're going to take it and you're going to roll it. Oops, hold on, almost forgot. Mozzarella and Parmesan cheese. That goes inside. Okay, so we do the mozzarella first. Or actually, you know what? I think it'd be better if we put the Parmesan cheese first. So we have Parmesan cheese, 1.5 teaspoons is what we're using. As soon as I could get the saran wrap off. Okay, and we're going to just put a little bit down the whole center, right across the spinach mainly. And then if you have it left over, put it on your fish. It doesn't hurt to add it in. Everything is counted for, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay. And now the mozzarella, you're going to be putting in 1/8 of a cup of mozzarella. So it's just going to be a little bit on top, not the whole thing full. If again, you don't use it all, you know, you find that it's a little bit too much, you could add it to the rest of it, like I'm doing. And now you're going to roll. Let's take the center one. And we're going to roll it. Always keeping seam down in your dish you're going to put it in. I have a casserole dish that I'm going to spray with my trusty Pam butter. Okay, so this is 1 serving. You see how many I get? I get 3. Let me rinse my hands. Okay, so here I'm putting in my Pam spray. Seam side down. And roll it kind of tight so it doesn't all come out, fall out. Let me rinse again. You got to keep those hands clean, okay? And then we're going to put in a little bit of paprika. And I like to use smoked paprika. Just sprinkle a little bit of the smoked paprika across the top because you want it to look a little pretty. So I would say, see, I'm using a fork, but you could use a measuring spoon. And I would say that's probably about a quarter for all three, okay? Quarter of a teaspoon. And then you're going to spray the tops with the Pam spray. You could use butter, but you know what? This is a lot less fattening. And this is what it looks like. And it goes into the oven, okay? And we're going to put this in the oven. For about 20 minutes until your sole flakes a little bit. So about 20 minutes. And let me rinse this. And I'm going to take the rest of this and put it in a little dish. And I'll take this and use it in something else. Okay. So much for that. And now we just wait for it to cook. And your meal will be all ready. Get a plate. We'll put everything on the plate. In the meantime, I'm going to tell the 365 group, I'm going to recap everything. So your vegetable relish was 14 servings out of what I did. And you have an eighth of a cup of greens. You have 0.16 condiments in it and 0.07 fats. For your stuffed sole, you have 6.5 of leanest, 6.5 ounces leanest, half an ounce of lean, which would be your mozzarella, 2.25 ounces, 2.25 of condiments, a 1.5 is your fats, and 1.5 are your greens. For the Delicata squash, you're using a half a cup of your Delicata squash, which is 85 grams. That's what it comes out to. And I have 3.5 servings in mine. It's 1 green, which is a half a cup, 0.86 fats, and 0.71 condiments. So that's the rundown for the 365 group. So I'll be back in a few minutes when we take the food out.